Hi, welcome to the Chad Bozarth Show. Thanks for listening.
Oh, what's up, man?
What's up, Chad? Sorry, I got you off pattern with the recording stuff. I'm still out of breath. I'm trying to get back to the house, and I'm like, this is a Zoom meeting. It's gonna be business, but I keep forgetting it's my friend Chad, so I don't need to hurry up and be out of breath for this.
Oh man, I'm so glad to be talking to you. Okay, what do you want me to call you?
Uh, I whatever. I don't care.
Hey,
Don't make it awkward, Chad.
no, I'm gonna make it awkward. So I've been trying to interview you for months, and
Yes.
you finally accepted, but people will notice on the thumbnail that it is not your real picture. So what's up with that?
Well, I am just the older I get, the more I realize I think we jumped into just the internet, social media way too quick before we had a chance to realize what that does as
Hmm.
far as blasting ourselves out there nonstop. So a few years ago, I just made a conscious decision just to keep things private. The internet is not the real world to me, so I like to keep things separate, and I deleted my social media. I think Facebook around 2012, maybe a couple years after that, I deleted Instagram. I still have social media as far as YouTube and X, but I don't really use it for personal stuff. It's mainly for, the news, or if I'm trying to get a tutorial on YouTube, just things like that. But I don't really post my personal stuff online.
Oh man, you know what? I love that about you. I love that we text, if something's going on, like we have to text each other because I know, like, even if it's like a family picture or something, I had to text it to you because I know you didn't see it on Facebook.
Yeah, there's plus and minus things about it. For example, we miss out on some events a lot of times when people organize things on social media. Unless we get a call or a text, we're not going to know about it. 'Cause my wife, she's not on social media either. Um, she has an Instagram that she uses for to check out recipes and things like that, but she's not actually on there actively posting or keeping up with people. So we kind of feel like the outskirts of society in that regard, where we're just not up to date with that stuff. And I'm okay with it. I think maybe it's not for everyone, but I think it's a healthy thing to do once in a while, is to unplug from the noise and just kind of be in the zone, in your own personal little life. So,
Honestly, I think that's so cool. Like, how do you do that? Like, if somebody was just sick of all of the noise and social media, like, how, what would you recommend? How do you disconnect? I mean, I know you already said you deleted
mhm.
stuff, but just practically speaking, I mean, I get tired of stuff too, and then I'm thinking, well, but if somebody needs to get a hold of me, I don't know, I struggle with it. How would you go about kind of doing what you have done?
It's hard. And I feel like me and you are, we're kind of the last generation to know the old world before
Hmm.
the internet became not just something you sat down at a desk and you had to dial up your modem to connect and not use your phone line, but the internet is pretty much in everything we do today, from turning on your lights at the house to checking your cat camera. So we're kind of that last generation that still remembers the old world. And I think for us growing up with the internet, growing up as well, it's different than maybe older people or younger people that are born into it. Um, so I think for us it's harder, maybe not harder, but we have to make a conscious decision. For example, on my phone, I want to have a dumb phone, but it's almost unrealistic to have a dumb phone today.
Mm,
So I actively put restrictions on my phone. For example, I can't install new apps, or I would put restrictions like take out the color on my screen so it's just black and white or gray. So it discourages me to look at icons and images. Also, um, I delete most of my apps except in very basic stuff that I need for my daily use, and I keep my desktop for things like X or YouTube or just checking random things throughout the week on the internet. I make it uncomfortable for me where I have to sit down on a working chair in order to be exposed to that. Otherwise, if I just pull out my phone from my pocket when I'm on the couch hanging out with my wife, before you know it, it's been an hour and I'm still
mm,
dumb scrolling or doom scrolling through my phone. So it needs to be a conscious decision for especially for people like us,
mm.
I think.
Man, I think that's so interesting. You might you remember that Bruce Willis M. Night Shyamalan movie Unbreakable?
Yes. I vaguely remember it's been so long.
Well, basically Bruce Willis, spoiler alert, he's a superhero, but like he doesn't know it until he survives
Hmm.
this train crash and
Hmm.
then he realizes, "Oh man, I can lift weights." And anyway, it's a really cool movie. I need to go rewatch it, but like dude, you might be like a modern day superhero because no, it's true because so I was listening. Have you listened to that Joe Rogan episode where he's interviewing the guy and he wrote this book called Blitz and he's talking about how back in the day like so many in the society were just like on meth basically. I don't remember the exact type of drug, but it was basically like everybody was on uh, a certain type of meth.
I don't think I've heard that episode.
Okay, it's
I don't
wild.
I
Like,
don't understand where meth connects to me being a superhero.
no, I'm gonna connect it. No, I'm gonna connect it. So the point was, it was just easy to get. Everybody was on this drug. It was easy to get it, and now
Uh,
it's like I feel like we're in that, that Star Trek: The Next Generation episode, The Game,
hmm.
where they come back from Risa, and they have this game,
Oh
and
yes, it
the whole
gets
yeah, like the
right,
whole
right.
ship is overtaken with everybody playing this game, and then Wesley and his girlfriend are like the two
Because
holdouts or
it's
whatever.
so addictive and you slowly get into it without realizing. I know it,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
episode, right? Right.
right. Well, I mean, like we're like in that episode, kind of. I mean, everybody's addicted to dopamine. Like we're all posting stuff, and then we're checking to see did we get likes, and it's like the like gives you that little dopamine hit in your brain, and it's like, okay,
Hmm.
that was. Let me do that again. It's like or doom
Yep.
scrolling, like you said, like. I mean, we joke about it, and sometimes I kind of like cheap shot you for not being on social media, but the truth is, like, who's not addicted to social media at this point? It's kind of
Well,
scary.
yeah, and that's just surface level. And I know you say things this about me, but there's actually quite a few people that are going to a dumb phone, which it's actually much harder nowadays to get a dumb phone. Well, maybe not in 2025, but for example, if you keep around your old flip phone, you can't use it. You can't just go to AT&T or Verizon and have them connected with the SIM card because I think the 3G service no longer exists in America. So you have to go out of your way to find companies that's their main mission statement is to keep you off the screen, and they
Mm,
produce those devices. There's phones and devices out there, and there's quite a few people that are into that are just kind of sick of just not being able to concentrate and or hold their attention span, or even people that are affected spiritually. Because let's face it, it's not. I mean, back when me and you used to be teenagers or college, we used to hang out, and I know now we have kids and we're married, and but I feel like even my parents, they would always be connected with other people and friends.
Mm,
And now subconsciously, it seems like people think they're connected to their circle of friends, but really you're just
mm,
looking at a screen on a daily basis and you see what's going on in their lives, but you're not actually establishing that meaningful personal connection with them that you
mm.
get face to face. I think that's not. I think that's antichrist when I think about it. I mean, what's that verse where it says, "When two or three are gathered in my name, you know, God's right there." And when we're separated from a distance, in spirit, we're together, but it's just not the same, you know. So
Yeah. No, I mean, we used to hang out. Oh man, you used to come by my parents' house like almost every night after you got off work, and we would hang out.
I
Like,
know it
yeah,
would just be
or
silly.
yeah, we used to, dude, we used to make like MySpace videos back in the day.
Oh, good on
Like,
MySpace.
like I don't even know if anybody watched them, but we were. I don't even know what camera we used to. How did we even do that? Was that on a phone? I don't even know.
I think it was one of those Sony camcorders with like I think it was like a mini tape that you have to use a firewall to convert on a computer to digitize the tape, you know?
No, but
But
that's true. Like I miss it. I mean, honestly, it's sad sometimes. Like I'll run into somebody in real life, and to your point, like my brain, I'm not sure whether I saw them on social media last or in real life last. It's like this
Mhm.
weird. It's a weird thing.
Right.
And like you said, it's like you feel like you know what's going on. In some ways, we know more what's going on in somebody's
Mhm.
life than we did 20 years ago. But it's like we don't have
They know what you ate for breakfast, if you post
but
it.
yeah, it's like we know all these strange details, but we don't have an actual like real connection.
Yeah, that spiritual well, I
Mm.
I take it back. I don't want to say it's antichrist, that spirit of being distant, but it in some ways it is helpful. For example, I have family overseas. My
Mm,
grandparents are in their 80s. Thank God for, screen time or FaceTime. It's just incredible
that's
that
true
I can
too.
I can talk to them, or it does make our life easier sometimes, but I think there's so many negatives that for me personally, and it's not for everyone, but I just I just don't like it, you know.
Well, I admire you. So, kind of, let's speculate for a second. So, things are moving so fast, but let's take a positive view. Like 10 years from now, if more people wanted to be like you, it's just not even clear to me how we could. Because here's what's hard for me is like there's so much expectation for us to all be connected all the time, right? Like it's almost like you're expected
Mhm.
to respond to a text or whatever. You have all of these inroads coming at you, and it's
Mhm.
like something's wrong with you if you don't respond to somebody. It's
Yeah, you
like,
even have the option to let them know that you've seen the text. What is that? Like, why? Why?
yeah, it's like all incoming is like obligatory. I don't know. It's this weird, it's one thing if you just make a personal decision to do something,
Mhm.
but then it's hard to change other people's expectations
Mhm. And I use
because
my
the
personal
expectation.
phone.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I I was just gonna say I also use my personal phone for work, and if it wasn't for work, I would straight up just get a flip phone, like a modern dumb phone. But I can't even escape that because I have to use all these work apps, for my job. And so, I've told my boss once I leave work, I go to my settings and I disconnect all the network stuff, all that. And yeah, it takes me 4 minutes to do it every day, but I do it. And then first thing in the morning, I just don't want any of that on my phone. And I know it's probably going a little extra, and some people might think it's psychotic, but I'm a man of patterns, so that's what I do.
Was there a time, was that a gradual process, or was something like, okay, I'm doing this, or was it more of a gradual thing to get where you are now as far as being disconnected? Hey,
I
and I
think,
just want to say, before you answer, I just want to say thank you for doing this interview with me
of
because
course.
I've really been bugging you about doing it
I
because
know. I
you're
thought we were
such
going
an
to talk
interesting,
about
huh?
I thought we were going to talk about video games and movies and whatnot.
Why we are. I want to talk about that too. Um, but yeah, was there like a gradual, was this a gradual thing, or was there like a moment where it's like, nah, I'm out?
I think once I hit my 40s, I realized, and this was happening way before. I mean, I deleted my Facebook back in 2012. I really think it was when I realized most of the people on there, they're not actual real friends. They're connections, maybe someone I met years ago, but they don't need to know what I'm doing today or on my
Mm,
timeline. Like there's no reason why or what I did. And it's just, I think we take privacy for granted
mm,
because me and you we grew up in a world where if you wanted to go out camping somewhere, you're off grid. Like, yeah, you might have a cell phone, but for the most part, nobody knew where you are. But now we freely give all our privacy information to all these apps and
mm,
companies, and I'm just strongly against that stuff. So I kind of took a step back a few years ago, and I realized, what matters to me is my wife, my private life, and I don't need to be broadcasting myself out there, and I also don't need to compare myself to other people on social media because
mm,
we've become so self-centered, and it's almost like keeping up with the Joneses. Like a lot of our styles, our fashions, what we do, we're not really doing it because we want to make ourselves happy. We're doing it so we can paint this storyline,
mm,
our image, virtual image of how people perceive us. And I think that's not godly, you know. It's
mm,
just not a healthy way to live. And obviously, social media can be a plus, if you're trying to connect to other believers or you're trying to create a ministry or it's your business. That's completely different. But I'm just talking about day to day, just
mm,
grabbing your phone out of your pocket just so you can doom scroll for an hour or two. It's just a waste for me, a waste of time.
mm. That's so good. I mean, you've done way better than me. I will say at night, 9 out of 10 nights, um, I put my phone in a different room when I go to sleep. I don't keep it in
I
the
do
same
that
room that I
too.
sleep
Yeah.
because I don't need to check my phone at 2 in the morning. Like that doesn't
Hmm.
even make any sense.
Right.
But it's
Yeah.
like you just get you get it's like what's the next like I don't know. It's so dumb to get so frustrated about so many different random
Hmm.
things that I literally have no control over or any personal decision I do can't affect, you know. It's weird how I don't know, it's almost like it distracts us from ourselves, from dealing with ourselves as
Hmm.
we get distracted about
Well,
problems, across the world. It's like, yeah, but what about the problems in my own heart? It's like
it's one of those things where even if you're not using your phone, the fact that how do I put this? You're never alone. Like you
mm,
with just a couple fingertips, you can connect to anyone in the world.
yeah.
And it's one of those things where it's more of a mental state where I can be completely alone if you're doing quiet time or reading the word of God or doing worship. But then if you have your phone, you're like always thinking about, well, did I check this or should I look at this or what was that email? What did they mention in this? What was the specific? So it just a couple fingertips, you can be anywhere in the world. You can screen time or anything. So it's more of a just for my personal time, it sometimes it's better just not to have my phone around me.
Mm.
So
Well, so that's interesting because I do want to talk about video games. So it's interesting because you are, on the one hand, you are not involved in social media and stuff like that. But on the other hand, you are very much of a tech person. I mean,
yeah, it's a
you
weird
love video
combo.
game. You're an interesting combo because you're not just,
Right.
out living on a cabin by the river,
I
fishing
know.
and milking a cow or something. Like you are you are
I
very
have
much
never
a
milked
tech.
a cow. I've milked a goat, not a cow though.
Oh, man, I have milked a cow one time. So,
On our next podcast, we chat how to milk a goat.
but you know what? Yeah. But you are very much a tech guy and you love video games. What was the first
I
video game
do.
system you ever had?
Well, so I don't know if you're want to go into this, but obviously I'm not American, or I am American, but I
I
wasn't
mean,
born in
I'm
America.
happy for you to talk about whatever you want to talk about. I'm just
Well, I thought it was a 30-minute thing. So,
well,
I
but
mean,
you're
where you're the host, Chad. You tell me where you want to go.
well, I want to be respectful of what you're willing to disclose, but 'cause yeah, well, I'll disclose this. You told me that I don't push back on my guests enough or something like that. Did you say that?
That is correct. I feel like you're too nice. So you can you can do whatever you want, man.
Mm. No, but seriously, I do want to talk.
I have to say, your guests are pretty phenomenal. I think Eric Gillette in Emails podcast where I literally got encouraged. Like, I mean, today I bought a new guitar, and I stopped playing guitar 17 years ago. And I listened to,
Wow.
I don't want to say, yeah, it's been 17 years since I haven't played, but like the podcast you did with Eric Gillette, I don't want to say that's the single factor, but it made me think, man, I really miss those days when I was just in my bedroom, just quiet times, praise and worship or learning a new worship song. So I told my wife, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go on my day off and buy a guitar today.
Oh man. Well,
So
and I hope you didn't rush too home, rush too quick.
it's okay. I did. I
Last
might
year's.
have. The car in front of me was getting a little upset because I was riding their bumper, but it's all good.
No, but what kind of guitar did you get? Did you get an electric or acoustic or?
Well, it's acoustic electric, so it's mainly acoustic, but I could plug it into an amp and add little pedals and whatnot. So
Oh man,
I'm
that's
I'm
awesome.
starting from the beginning. Like I had to buy everything from scratch, because I've sold all my stuff over the years. But I played for a while. I played for about 10, 12 years, with actually sometimes with Eric Gillette at the old youth group. I was
Yeah.
nowhere near good, but he was always an inspiration. So, you know, it's
Well, didn't you played with us? Um, you went down to Houston with us one time and we did like a wedding, right?
no, I wasn't part of it. I think I just took pictures of you guys.
Oh.
Uh yeah. Yep. But yeah, back to video games, right? You're asking me what was my first
Yeah.
thing. So I was born overseas in the early 80s. So uh back then was communism time. So we didn't really have access to stuff like Nintendo and things like that. But we had Game and Watch, like a knockoff version, like the Soviet Union version of Game and Watch.
Really?
So that was a big thing for us. And then I want to say it was probably right around the time communism fell, um, is when we started getting arcades. and also the Atari 2600. So all my friends had the Atari 2600, and that was probably my first exposure to video games, and I was like blown away, like little, you know, 6, 7 year old me. Like you can control the things on the screen, like that's incredible. So, and then in the early 90s, my friends got Nintendo, and me and my brother always loved playing that. So when we came here to United States, that first Christmas, that's what my parents got me a Nintendo. So ever since then, it's one of those things where I can take a few years away from that hobby, but I always go back to it because it's
Mm,
it's kind of like your favorite movie, It's just a time capsule, and it's got
mm.
everything, the image, the music, the way the game feels. It's just escapism, to the fullest for me. So, and I'm a big proponent of physical media. I used to be a collector. I've sold most of my stuff, but I've recently tried to get some of it back, which is very hard because prices have gone crazy. It's retro now, so it's pretty expensive. So you have to know where to look for, how to shop to get the best deal. But yeah,
I think
that's
that's cool about the physical media because even I was watching one of the original Star Wars movies.
hmm
I think uh, my daughter and I were watching. Um, was it Return of the Jedi
hmm
the other day, and it's like, but at some point they added like some CGI characters in there
they
that,
altered it. Yep.
yeah, they altered it, and so it's
hmm
like when I watch that, I want to watch the original that I grew up
Yeah, we're
watching. I
actually
don't.
in the process. I'm converting. I started going to thrift stores and buying cheap DVDs and Blu-rays. And now is the perfect time. Actually, prices have kind of gone up, but if you want to get into that hobby of physical movies, it's literally the best time because most people are thinking about streaming. They're not thinking DVDs. That's like old technology. So you can still find like 99-cent movies, $1 movies. So the past couple of years I've been building my collection, and I'm actually digitizing it. I'm putting on a hard drive, and actually I was talking to my wife today about it. So we're before the year is over, I'm gonna finish building my NAS server at home where you can set up a streaming service with your own physical media, and that way, you don't have to use a disc every time, but it's your own movies. You can stream on your phone or you know Fire Stick, or even if you're not in the house, you can create users with a password and everything. And so that's what I'm building right now because I'm tired of subscriptions. I'm tired of giving these companies money for things that, some movies they disappear in a couple weeks, or they
Mm,
change the movies. It's not the original. So, I'm a pretty big proponent of physical media in that regard.
mm. That's so interesting.
hmm
You were talking about video games in under communism. Did you see that movie? I don't know when it came out a few years ago about
hmm
the history of Tetris.
I did not watch that movie. No.
Oh, you
Yeah.
gotta watch it. It is so cool.
hmm
The
It
creator
took
of
some
Tetris.
liberties, I heard. It
I'm sure they
wasn't
did.
100%, but
Well, I'm sure they did. I didn't look into the details and like fact check it, but it was awesome.
was it good?
Apparently this Russian guy created Tetris and these Americans came in and were trying to
Yep.
buy it and it
They're
was
all trying to get one
yeah.
up on it. Yeah. And
So,
everybody,
yeah.
including the Russians, the KGB or whoever it was, they're all trying to monetize this guy. Poor guy.
Yeah.
I think he finally got all his money recently for
Hmm.
that.
Do you
So
remember that being under communism?
yeah, I remember communism. I was 5 or 6 when communism fell. So I remember the world during communism and after communism. It was massive change. So I think the main thing was Western imports. Before there was a specific store where there was like one store that you're allowed to go that had government approved imports that you can spend money and get from Western nations, but it was really expensive. And it was just like chocolates and things like that. But after communism fell, I mean, the floodgates just opened. So it wasn't just imports of goods, it was everything like Chinese knockoffs, Christian sects, like, like different types of denominations. And so it got very confusing for a while, but you
Oh,
know,
Christian sex, like SECTS.
yes,
I
yes.
was like,
You
Christian
did you hear
sex?
something?
I was thinking, I wasn't sure what you were talking
Bow, chicka,
about, but
wow, wow. All right.
Christian, okay. Interesting. So,
Yeah. So everything just opened up and, completely different. So,
mm,
but still, most people couldn't afford like VCRs and video games. Like it was very expensive. So,
wow. Do you remember, do you remember what like your parents' reaction was when all of that changed for you guys?
so my dad, he was pretty big proponent of like, freedom and, obviously us as Christians, we did not like living in communism. I've heard stories of my mom when she was younger, you know, back then, like people were spies. Like you never knew if your neighbors are gonna tell on you but teachers used to go, she said, and check out her church and try to spot to see if there's any kids from the school there. So my mom would tell me that in the middle of the service, she would like have to hide underneath the seats so that her teacher doesn't see her at church. And another story my dad told me, he was trying to smuggle Bibles one time, and um, they found a Bible in my mom's purse, and they harassed my dad, arrested him multiple times, and had to, basically try to scare him, but he wouldn't stop. So, but for me, by the time I was 5 or 6, all that has changed. We would still keep it on a down low because people that grew up in communism, they don't change over time. So they're still looked at us weird. We weren't orthodox, so to them we were the same as every other sect or you know weird movement that came from the West, even though our church was existing for decades before that underground, basically. So
Wow.
you know
And how old were you when you came to the States?
so I was teenage. I was 12 or 13, I
Hmm.
think. Yeah.
And you said you learned to speak English mostly by watching English cartoons, right?
Right. So my mom, she made the point for me to take English classes before we came to America. But I mean, it was when I came here, it was a culture shock. Like I didn't understand or speak anything. But what helped me out was watching cartoon. We didn't have cable or satellite in Bulgaria, but somehow I have no idea how, but my dad's over the air antenna was able to pick up Cartoon Network, and it was all in English. So like for hours, I would just watch like Cartoon Network, and just my brain was being ingrained with the sounds of English before we came here. I don't know. It wasn't like satellite. We just had a regular antenna. I don't know how that worked, but so that kind of prepped me up a little bit.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Yep.
Well, I know that see, here's the thing. You're one of my best friends and we could talk forever. And so I had to figure out how we could talk more because there's a lot to talk about.
I know. I didn't even get you banned, Chad.
Yeah, I
Usually
know.
I speak my mind without filters, so
My YouTube channel is safe. Um, yeah, it's interesting. Um,
Probably because you didn't ask me about conspiracies. If we're talking
Well,
conspiracy,
well, let's end on that, and
which
let's end on that, and that'll be a good launching pad for our next one. Because I know you're probably, if you're like me, there's two types of people. Like, I'm the type of person, if I get something new, like even a new t-shirt or something, like I almost have to put it on before I even get home. And
mhm,
so you're probably excited to get to your new guitar.
I
Um,
am, yeah, but this is
so,
great too. Can I say one thing though
yeah,
before
yeah,
we
please do.
go?
Yeah.
I'm extremely disappointed at your brother for not talking conspiracies with you.
No, we had
Are
to
you
start
good?
off. No, we're going to. We had to start.
Okay.
But here's what I told him is okay.
I think he was ready to go, Chad. I think you're like, let's save it for another time. I can feel it. He was so close. He was getting ready to unload on you.
Okay. Well, let's end with that, and that can be the launching pad. What is your favorite conspiracy theory?
Oh man, you're gonna get me in trouble.
Okay.
I don't know
We
if
could
this podcast is the right
that's I
venue for this.
that's the thing. I try to keep it positive.
Let's
Well,
say I'll tell you a fun conspiracy
okay.
theory would be um I know you well, I'm not gonna say anything regarding your favorite one, but mine would probably be alien stuff, which I don't believe in aliens. I don't think they're aliens, but that's a fun conspiracy theory for me.
Well, so speaking of aliens, okay, I gotta tell you two things. So
Okay.
was
I
it
am an alien, by the way.
you are
Wow, wow, wow.
well, just last month we went on family vacation and we actually passed through Roswell.
Oh
Um,
yeah, I saw
yeah,
you told me about that.
but
I saw your
so
text.
here's what's funny, and I know you like Star Trek. So
Mm-hmm.
speaking of aliens, it's interesting to me how different people are different. Because like growing up, some of my favorite memories growing up are at 9 o'clock at night. Star Trek: The Next Generation would come on, and I would watch that
Mm-hmm.
with my mom.
I was scared, Chad. I used to watch it by myself at night. I was
Oh, really?
scared. Yeah. The alien scared me.
Well, I I used to watch it with my mom, and my dad would walk in, and he'd be like, "What are you guys watching?" And he just thought it was so dumb. But then I would walk in on my dad and he would be watching like some alien documentary type show about
Uh-huh.
Roswell or something, and he
That's even
loved
worse. At least yours is fiction.
no, that's what's interesting is he's like, "You guys, what are you watching? That's so dumb." And then he himself would be watching like alien documentaries, and then my mom would be like, "What are you watching? That's so dumb." So it's like my mom thinks the alien, conspiracy stuff is dumb, and my dad thought the fictional stuff was dumb. So it's
It's so
so,
funny.
and I think
I was
both are
about to
amazing.
say,
So
if your mom is listening at this point, she's already checked out. Oh man, I love your mom.
uh, that's what did you? I put her on the spot. Did I interviewed her for one of these? Did you listen
Yeah,
to that one?
I listened to 75% of it during
Well,
a trip to Austin, and then
I
we
started
arrived.
off I started off by asking her if she's listened to all my episodes, and she was like, "I intend to."
Dude, I love your mom, man. I think when I graduated a certain school I went to your mom. I'm trying to give as little information about my life as possible on the internet. But I went up to your mom and dad and they prayed for me, which was really nice. So I'm very thankful for that. So
Oh man. Well, I'm thankful for you, and we're gonna do this again, and
yeah. We need to hang out, man. Bust out the old Nintendo. Remember how much fun we had last time? It was
yeah,
a
the
while
the
ago.
last time we played Nintendo together, I think it was after my dad died. So that's like a depressing
Oh,
memory and
I
a
see.
nice memory.
Oh,
That's a good memory though.
yeah. Yeah, we
We
had
sh
fun.
we should do that.
Right. Or something else. But
Dude, thank you so much for this conversation, man.
of course, anytime, Chad. I'll try to get you banned next time. That's gonna be my goal.
I'll see you, man.
All right, Chad. Bye bye.
Bye.